Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, let's talk about how to know if an avoidant will come back. Um, there's one way that I feel like is pretty surefire of a way that you'll know if an avoidant will come back. However, I can't give you the time frame, and I cannot necessarily say this is always the case, but it feels like it's almost always the case. And we're going to talk about that main point, and then we're going to talk about ways that that can be broken down so that you can see if this fits your criteria, okay? I don't think everyone's going to like this, but it is true based on what I've seen as a therapist and what literally patients tell me. Usually it's someone who tried their best to save the relationship. So what I mean is like the avoidance partner. So let's say we have an anxious, preoccupied male and a dismissive avoidant female. He tried everything to save that relationship and she left anyways, or maybe he broke up with her, whatever it is. He is likely in a position to which she's probably going to come back someday because he did everything. And the reason why is because it came across like very genuine. It shows that he was not lying. It shows that he was not trying to take advantage of her. And when she's away from her trigger, so when she broke up for whatever reason and she's away from the fears of engulfment or being taken advantage of or being manipulated, those fears are gone now because the relationship is over at this time. Now she can see, oh, he was a really genuine guy. What was I thinking? Why was I so afraid of him trying to take advantage of me or try and control me? He wasn't doing any of those things. He tried his best and I'm the one that messed up. That's honestly the most common reason that avoidants come back. And usually if that's your position, it's pretty likely they're going to come back. I don't know when. Sometimes it takes a while. And I am sorry if you're in this position. It's not fun. I know that. I'm sure I've seen it in my practice. But let's talk about ways that this shows up in the relationship so that you guys can know if you actually fit this criteria, if that makes sense, okay? Now, the first one is that you communicated your needs clearly. You didn't play games or you didn't make them try and guess. You communicated it very clearly. Maybe you want more intimacy in the bedroom and they stopped and they pulled away. You might mention, this is something I wish that we could have. What's the reason that we don't have it anymore? Can we correct this? Can we fix this? And you've tried your best and they just like didn't budge. And you communicated, I want us to hang out for Thanksgiving or Christmas. I want us to do something for your birthday, whatever it may be. You're trying to manage your feelings and you're trying to manage your emotions in a way that's calm, but you're also saying these are my needs. And you communicated them clearly. Why this is part of the reason why someone who tried their best and is genuine really helps an avoidant to come back is because they, looking back, they're able to see, oh, you clearly said this and I clearly said no. Like, I get it, right? It's very obvious to them. There's no games. The reflection is very easy. So that's why that one is very quick for them to understand. It might take them a while to admit it, but it does work very well. The next one is you actually try to accommodate to their needs, right? They might have said, no, I don't want us to do anything for your birthday. And you said, okay, that's fine. I wish that we could. Can we do something maybe not on my birthday, but maybe something small, go out together, whatever it is? You're trying to adjust and accommodate, even though what you're asking for is incredibly reasonable, right? And they can look back, same thing, and realize that that's what occurred. They realize that they were always in the driver's seat and they don't like being in that situation. It makes them feel horrible. But when they're so triggered, they end up in that situation. And I used to be avoidant, and I remember how I didn't realize how selfish I was. But when I look back at being less selfish, I realized how, like, honestly disgusted I was at myself. And I try my best to not be selfish anymore. I don't even care if I have to be like the opposite of it. I never want to feel that way again because it feels horrible. I think it's like one of the worst feelings in that I've ever experienced. I've always told people this after I've had these experiences. I'd rather be the person getting hurt than being the person hurting someone because that feels worse, I feel. Because I was that person. I was a person that was always hurting others and thinking about myself. I used to be. I've changed a lot, so much. And I'm very grateful and I tried my best. But I don't like being that. I'd rather be the person that got hurt. And I guess it's easy to say because I wasn't in that situation. But it feels more like, because you tried your best. Whereas I know at that time, I was just controlling. I was so difficult. I was so selfish. And everyone was like bending around me and I didn't even know that. And that made me feel worse about myself, about people, and it was so hard to get over. And so when you try to accommodate their needs, they are going to wake up one day, I'm telling you, at one point, and really not like that feeling because they don't realize that's what you're doing because they're so stuck in their ways. And so that they're going to come back and try and salvage the relationship typically because they want to say, if you broke up, because in my situation, that wasn't the case necessarily. I wasn't totally separate from some of these people because mine was a whole situation, my family, everybody. Like it was just like some people, it doesn't get that bad. Maybe mine, it had to be. But a lot of times, and I see this in couples therapy, the avoidant learns before the relationship even ends how selfish they are, and then they try and salvage it. But then you might think it's fake. But anyways, we're talking about if y'all broke up. They might try to salvage it and try and prove to you I'm not selfish anymore because they don't want to be selfish and they do miss you and they do care about you. But if you try to accommodate their needs, that's a really big trigger for them to change at one point, okay? I know it's not fun to admit. I'm just telling you the truth, okay? The next one, if you know your partner probably will come back, is if you compromised, which is very similar to the first one, but it's more that you compromise even though it will be healthier for them to compromise. So let's say, for example, bedroom intimacy, okay? It's not necessarily healthy for them to withhold intimacy in the bedroom because they're just, too uncomfortable with how vulnerable they feel. That's the reason why they do it, by the way. Being intimate with somebody, especially male avoidants, this is way more common with male avoidants. Female avoidants, not as much, okay? Male avoidants feel incredibly vulnerable because typically they're the ones initiating, feeling more vulnerable. You understand what I'm saying. You understand the mechanics, okay? That's a really vulnerable feeling for them. And so it's more healthier for them to engage in that slightly. You don't have to push them, but a little bit. But they're pulling away completely. So you give in. Maybe you say, okay, maybe we won't have intimacy for a long time. You did that, which is, I understand every relationship is different. This is not judgment, okay? But maybe it would have been healthier for whatever situation, this hypothetical relationship, that they try a little bit to be more open to what you're saying. Right? Maybe that would have been a better situation, but they didn't. They did it their way. And maybe at the end of the day, it worked out. But apparently in this situation, y'all broke up. So it probably didn't. And they're reflecting on that. I wish I compromised a little. I wish I heard them out. I wish I at least was nicer about it. I wish I at least apologized for what I was putting them in. Right? They probably wish that. And that's why they come back, because they want to do that again for you. Okay. The next one is you didn't play games to get your way. You were very genuine. This one, a lot of avoidants really regret this because the truth of the matter is, and I'm just going to be honest with you, I see so many different folks. A lot of people play games, y'all. A lot of people play games. And so if you are a person who does not, you will stand out easily, very easily. And they want you back. The next one is you did not become vindictive after the breakup. Again, a lot of people, believe it or not, it's true. A lot of people, I know most of you guys don't do it. I read your comments, but still, just sharing information. A lot of people get very vindictive after a breakup. If you did not do that, it helps them to realize, wait a second. The real colors of you did not show up after the relationship. You were always yourself. You weren't vindictive. You didn't hurt me. This proved to them, unfortunately it took them this long, that you were not manipulative. It was in their head. Whatever they were afraid of, it was in their head. And they lost you, so they're gonna try and get you back, of course. The next one is you apologize when you made mistakes. It made them realize, again, they were probably calling the shots more. You were apologizing and maybe they were not. And they don't like that feeling. It's one of the worst feelings in the world. I'm telling you, y'all, it's a very uncomfortable feeling. And that's what happened, right? So they want to come back. They want to apologize. They want to fix it. And the last one is when you parted ways, that very moment when you decided to part ways or they broke up with you, you were genuine. Maybe you did cry because you're genuine. You said, I wish this isn't happening, but I understand. You were genuine and they remember that. It really sticks in their brain more than I can even explain. They remember that. Sometimes that memory just keeps repeating in their head and they just don't want to hurt you. And they do want to come back and they do want to make you happy. And that's why they come back. Okay. So overall, a person who tried their best to save the relationship is usually that person that an avoidant will come back to. I know that's not fun to hear, but I'm telling you the truth, okay? And so how do you show that in a relationship? You communicate your needs clearly. You try. I'm not telling you to do this, by the way. I'm not saying for you to do this. I'm just giving you why this occurs. Maybe you tried to accommodate their needs. You compromised even when they should have compromised. You didn't play games. You were genuine and not vindictive after the breakup. You apologized when you made mistakes. And when you guys actually parted ways, you were genuine about your true emotions, okay? I hope this video is helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.